Good morning, everyone. My name is Larry Vuillemin, and thanks for being a part of our annual breakfast. And as I speak to you, I'm not sure to what extent you can involve yourself. You know, we've promoted this as a hybrid event. Our hope is in June that maybe we can gather personally and be together, you know, in a real heart-to-heart way. But if not, however you're able to join us, thank you. And in thanking you, I also appreciate on behalf of Heart to Heart all that so many of you have done for us over the years to bring us to where we're at. In saying that, you know, I wanted to acknowledge my dear friend, Father Norm Douglas, you know, co-founder of Heart to Heart, and of course our staff, our team, Jeremy Lyle, our executive director, and all the beautiful people who keep this organization and movement known as Heart to Heart together. You know, I take this opportunity, and it's been a tradition, I guess, for some years, to give you all the word for the day as presented to me by my wife. You know, and before I go on in some other direction, I won't hold you in suspense. You know, the word for today is acceptance. And when my wife told me that, I said, okay, tie it into the annual breakfast. And she said, well, she doesn't want to go all that deep, but she says, well, there's just some things in life you have to accept. And it plugged me into the serenity prayer, you know, that starts, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. And more with the pandemic and even the uncertainty of our breakfast and so many people that have been wounded in so many ways. Loss of loved ones, recovering from illness, recovering from so many things. You know, we're experiencing a lot of grief. And where are you finding a pathway to peace in the midst of all the changes? You know, a dear friend who at the time was a chaplain at Akron City Hospital, once told me when I told her that, boy, a lot of the people coming together, in essence, were sharing grief, even though they hadn't really lost a loved one or experienced some loss that we associate with that word grief. And she said to me, she said, well, you know, Larry, grief involves the conflicting feelings we experience when we go through familiar changes in familiar patterns of behavior. Have you been going through some changes in familiar patterns of behavior? Whatever that might be. You know, or the stages of grief, you know, as Elizabeth Kubler-Ross talked about, you know, anger, you know, denial, bargaining, depression, and the woundedness, and we work our way towards that word, acceptance, as a pathway to peace. And maybe it's all summed up in that serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Serenity, peace, acceptance, courage, and wisdom.